Good morning, children. Hope you're all doing well. We have covered 3 sessions on financial statements for not-for-profit organizations. Today is going to be the last session of not-for-profit organizations. In day 1, 2, and 3, we have covered terminology and definition and features of not-for-profit organization, how it is different from a profit earning organization. We have talked about receipts and payment account, features and format, income and expenditure account, features and format, balance sheet, format, difference between income and expenditure account and receipts and payment account, difference between receipts and payment account and cash book. We did talk about few very important terminologies of this chapter. Today we are first going to do a small recap through questions. Also we'll be covering the rest of the terminologies to finish off the theory part of not-for-profit organizations. Please maintain your register as it is. Put the date for today. Whatever recap and review questions are there in the slides, do them. And if you have any doubt, leave your question in the comment section below. How will outstanding subscription at the end of accounting year treated in income and expenditure account? What is the difference between general and specific donation? In which account is depreciation recorded? Give examples of specific donations. Differentiate between receipt and payment and income and expenditure account on the basis of nature of items recorded. Give example of special purpose fund. Name 2 types of donations received by charitable institutions. Give examples of restricted fund. What is meant by annuity fund? Which account does not have an opening balance and the closing balance get transferred to the balance sheet? What financial statements are prepared by profit earning organizations? Who manages not-for-profit organizations? Children, all these questions have been covered in the sessions done before. Let's proceed to this session today. We are continuing with the terminologies. The terminology which we'll talk about today is legacy. Legacy is amount received by the not-for-profit organization under will of a deceased person. For example, a person before dying already had communicated to the nominee that this much amount has to go to a particular not-for-profit organization. In such a case, the amount that is received is called legacy. If the purpose is specified by the donor, it will be treated as a specific donation. Specific donation, irrespective of the big or small amount, will be treated as a capital receipt. And this capital receipt will go to the liability side of the balance sheet of the organization. If the purpose is not specified by the donor, it will be treated as general donation irrespective of the amount. General donation will be a revenue receipt and it will be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Sale of used sports material. If there is stock of sports material lying with the organization, it is an asset. Sports material that is used or consumed, for example, rackets, shuttlecocks, balls, That's a revenue expense and it will be shown on the debit side of the income and expenditure account. What goes in the balance sheet? Any stock that is available plus whatever amount you have spent to purchase more sports material minus whatever is consumed, used. Whatever is the amount of balance that will go to the balance sheet. If there is any old sports material that is sold, so if sale proceeds are more and book value is less, it will be a revenue income and it will be shown on the credit side of the income and expenditure account. If the sports material is sold and the book value is more than the sales, then it will be a revenue expense and it will be shown on the debit side of income and expenditure account. If we talk of sale of old assets, sale value is credited to the asset account since the asset account is decreasing. If the book value is more and sale value is less, it will be a loss and this loss will be shown on the debit side of income and expenditure account. If the sale value is more than the book value, it will be a gain and it will be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Sale of old newspapers. Newspapers doesn't mean only newspapers. It means magazines, periodicals. So if an amount is spent on buying such things, it is a revenue expense and it is going to be shown on the debit side of income and expenditure account. If we sell them and the amount that is realized from the sale, it is a revenue income and that will be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account. We'll talk about a very important term called subscription, and I'm sure you have heard of this term. As we can see in the image that is shown here, if you go for a basic subscription, premium subscription, standard subscription, gold subscription, platinum subscription, silver subscription, these are some names that the organizations come up with the amount and the type of facilities that are included. They take a particular amount. That amount is a periodical amount. So we'll talk about the term subscription. So they have different pricing policies. If you pay amount for 1 year subscription, for monthly, for quarterly, for once in a week, twice in a week, and there's a kind of a subscription form that is required to be filled in by some companies. They give annually or they give it one time, they give it online, they give it in paper, whichever way. So what is subscription? Subscription is the amount paid by the member periodically so that their membership is alive. If we say periodically, it means daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, half yearly, yearly, or once in 2 months, or once in 3 months, or once in 5 months, whichever way, depends from organization to organization. It is a source of income for the not-for-profit organization. Okay, so what goes in the receipt and payment account? We talked about receipt and payment account. It's an account which is maintained on cash basis. It is an account which takes into consideration the amount received irrespective of the year it is pertaining to. So whatever amount of subscription is received, whether it relates to previous year, current year, or next year, in the current year will be taken to the debit side of the receipts and payment account. Any subscription which is relating to only current year will be shown in the income and expenditure account. This point will be elaborated in 1 or 2 slides afterwards in detail. Subscription related to current year will be shown in the income and expenditure account whether received or not. It will be shown on the credit side. Any subscription that is outstanding, it is an asset, it will go to the asset side of the balance sheet. Any subscription that is received in advance for the next year, it is a liability for the organization. It will be shown on the liabilities side of the balance sheet. This slide is very important. We yesterday discussed in the while starting the session, we did talk about subscription or salaries. This is a repetition, but we'll be studying it in detail with respect to subscription. So we start with the subscription that is received in the year, which is shown in the receipt and payment account. And this amount can relate to previous year, current year, or next year. Whatever is the amount, we take that amount into consideration. That's our first figure 1. What is added to it? Any subscription that is outstanding at the end of the current year. It pertains to this year, so it will be added to it. And it will also be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. It's number 2. What is number 3? Number 3 is advance received in the beginning of the year. Because it's an advance received in the beginning, that means it pertains to the current year. It will be added. That's point number 3. 2 items which will not be included. Outstanding in the beginning of the current year. That means it pertains to the previous year. That's point number 4. Advance received at the end of the current year. That means it's an amount which is received for utilization for the next year. It's a liability. It will be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. It's point number 5. What goes in the income and expenditure account? This is what we get from adding 1, 2 and 3. And from this amount we'll subtract 4 and 5. That means we get subscription that pertains to the current year. I'll recap this again. Whatever subscription is received during the year will be shown in the receipt and payment account, irrespective of whichever period it pertains to. If an amount is outstanding still in the end of the current year, it will be added. Advance received in the beginning of the year will be added. Any amount which is outstanding at the beginning of the current year will be reduced. Advance received at the end of the current year, which pertains to the next year, will be reduced. And whatever amount we get is actually the subscription that pertains to the current year. And this amount will go on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Honorarium. Honorarium is something which is given to a person who has come to give us services. We are not paying him the fees, but we are just giving him a token payment to express our gratitude for his services. It's a revenue expenditure and it will go to the debit side of income and expenditure account. Cost of goods consumed. Cost of goods consumed is calculated when we talk of opening stock available for those goods. Any purchases that you have made during the year, closing stock that is available for you to be consumed in the next year, and with this opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock, we get stock consumed. Whatever stock is being consumed, it's a revenue expense for the not-for-profit organization, and it finds its place on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Children, we have talked about the theory part of the chapter. We'll be doing some more questions which we want you to maintain properly in your registers. Please go through the PowerPoints and the video again if you have any doubt, and we'll be doing the questions now. Total assets minus total liabilities in case of not-for-profit organization is equal to items shown in receipt and payment account relate to which period? Why adjustments related to income received in advance and accrued income not considered in the receipts and payment account? What is meant by legacy? How is sale of old newspapers treated? How is subscription received in advance for the following years treated. How is book value of asset ascertained? Give two examples each of revenue and capital receipts. What will be the treatment of match expenses if there is match fund with the organization? Which transactions are summarized in receipt and payment account? How is donation received for special purpose treated? What is honorarium? Please attempt all the questions, children, the review questions and the recap questions. If you wish to see the slides, see them again. And please maintain your registers on daily basis very neatly. In the next session, we'll be starting with the theory of fundamentals. Thank you.